Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is such a pleasure having you guys here, and I hope that you guys are ready to read. So, please, guys, don't forget to comment in the comment section. Let me know where you're viewing from. That is so important as it helps us to know how to deliver our instruction better to suit your needs. So, guys, go ahead in the comment section and please let me know where you're viewing from. Those of you who are on YouTube, go ahead in the comment section. Let me know where you are viewing from. Those of you who are on YouTube, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm just going to do a check to make sure that we have our audio up and everything is going well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Guys, please go ahead in the comment section, type where you're from. Let us know where you're from, where you're viewing from. All you wonderful people. What about crypto? Please let us know where you're viewing from, okay? Don't forget, type in the comment section. I'm looking forward to see where you're from. Please, guys, show where you're from in the comment section because we're going to be reading tonight about hurricane. Don't forget, guys. Okay, so we just had our check, and yes, we can hear each other. Thank you so much for my TikTok viewers, those of you who are here on TikTok. Thank you for being here. You guys are so wonderful. Yes, guys. So please, guys, don't forget, type in the comment section where you're viewing from. That is so important for where you're viewing from. Be sure also to share out the live, share it to those who you know would want to benefit from it. Share it out to those who you know might want to benefit from it. Please share out the live to those who you know would want to benefit from it. Comment in the comment section, guys. Let's know where you're from. Yes, guys, let's see where you're from. And share the live with someone. Share the live with someone, anyone that you know might be interested. It can be an adult, it can be a child. These reading sessions are for children, they are also for adults who are learning how to read English, who want to improve their English. You know, a lot of us, we struggle with English from the grammar to the spelling to the vocabulary. We struggle a lot with English. So you guys know how it can be. And because you are aware of how it can be, don't forget to share out the live, share it out with someone who might be interested in learning how to read English. So I'm just going to stop the sharing for a while because I noticed that we have their um, sharing mode. It is actually on persons coming up in the box, but I'll put it back to persons being able to come up in the box once you guys notify that you want to come in the box to read. That would be great. So you will notify me in the comment section if you want to come up and read. And if that's something that you want to do, let me post the link. Let me post the link, guys, in the comment section so you guys can do that. Okay. So I gotta stop sharing the live again so I can post the link in the comment section for those of you who may want to come up and read. So if you want to come up and read, don't be afraid. We're going to use the link that I'm going to be posting in the comment section. That link is to join. So I'm going to be pinning the link. So those of you, it doesn't matter what time you come into the live, you can use this link to enter the stream. All right. Okay, I'm not getting to pin the link, but that's okay. We'll just leave that for now and go back to our screen. So I really want you guys to make use of the reading sessions. Try your best to learn as much as you can. These reading sessions, they can help you to develop into being a very, very good reader, becoming one of the best readers that you have ever been. In this lesson today, we are going to pay attention to our pronunciations. We are also going to be paying attention to our vocabulary and our spelling. Those are the three main things that we're going to be looking at: our vocabulary, spelling, and pronunciation, along with our fluency, of course, because we want to develop fluency. That's where you're able to read at a faster pace. Okay. So those are the things that we are going to be paying great attention to. And trust me, those are what are really, really important when it comes to reading English. For reading English, it's always about your vocabulary, it's always about your spelling, and it's always about um your vocabulary, your fluency, and your spelling whenever you are reading in English. So don't forget, share out the live guide, share it with someone who wants to learn how to read. Those of you who are on TikTok, don't forget to just tap the screen. Thank you, those of you who are on TikTok. Okay, so we are going to begin now, paying attention to fluency, paying attention to vocabulary, and also paying attention to our spelling. At this point, we are going to be reading through our text by looking at the words that are very difficult to call, words that are very difficult to call. So when you look at the text, always look for the words that might be difficult for you to call. If you're ready, type ready in the comment section. Let's go. If you're ready, type ready in the comment section. Let's do this together. Don't forget, if you want to join me live, guys, the link is in the comment section and you guys can click on the link to join from the comment section. All right. So hi Kanal, how are you doing? How are you today? How is everything with you? Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing? All right, guys, let's begin. We're going to be reading. Let's begin. So let me say welcome to our English reading lesson. Today, our topic is about hurricane. Our topic is about hurricane. In this lesson, we are going to be focusing on our fluency in reading. That's how fast we are able to read our story and keeping with that pace. We are also going to be looking at our spelling, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Remember, we are going to be looking at our fluency, that's our pace in reading, our vocabulary, spelling, and pronunciation. If you want to master these things in English, you must practice often. And so this is a great practice for you, especially on a topic that is very popular. And this topic is popular throughout English speaking countries because a lot of English speaking countries are affected by hurricanes, natural disasters. We are all prone to natural disasters. And so, hurricane is one of them. Let's now go ahead and begin to read our story. This is part one. Let's begin with part one. Always try your best to look for the words that are very difficult. So that's a plane making a lot of noise there, guys. We're just gonna wait until it's passed. All right. So we are going to begin with this part or text. And here we are going to be looking for the words that seem very difficult to call. Maybe those words are longer words, and maybe they are words that are not so popular when you read in English, so they can present reading problems for you. Let's begin. Our first word is the word numerous. Numerous. Say it again. Numerous. When we hear about numerous, we are talking about plenty, several, or many. Our next word is tempestuous. 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 And this word tempestuous, when you talk about something being tempestuous, you're actually saying that that thing is very violent, that thing is wild, it is extremely lively, or we can use other words like turbulent. We can also say that it's strong. Those are some of the words that we can use to mean tempestuous. Of course, force, force. Something that is force is something that is done out of your will. Something that is done out of your will. So, a force of itself, it's like a strength or it's like energy. You can say that it's power, it's a push or pull. However, when you say that you force someone to do something, it means that you actually try to threaten them so that they can do something that they are not willing to do, something that is against their will. All right, our next word is brood, brood, brood. And this word, it is very popular when it comes to things like drink. For example, drinking coffee, you would hear someone may say that I brewed the coffee. This word actually means that you make something, or it can mean when you're soaking something or boiling something or preparing something. Um, that's when you use the word. And it's often used with coffee, the preparation of coffee. Okay. Our next word is our word that we are focusing on today. Hurricane. 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 So hurricane is our word of focus. That's our word of focus. Hundreds. Hundreds. And hundreds would be numbers that have three digits. So the ones, the tens, and then the hundreds. All right, let's see. Years. Years. When we speak about years, we are actually talking about um, something that is annual, something that is annual, right? So um, it takes 366 days um, in a leap year, but 365 days otherwise to go around, for the earth to go around the sun. That would make a year. That would make a year. Our next word is people. 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 And we use the word people when we're talking about more than one person. We use people when we're talking about more than one person. Our word wonder. 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 When you wonder something, it simply means that you maybe think about it, or you're pondering about it, or something that you're reflecting on. You can say you wonder. Also, um, wonder can be, for example, when something is unexpected to you or unfamiliar to you, or sometimes when you fall in love with something, like you admire something, you can use the word wonder. Okay? All right. Our next word, mysteries. Mysteries. Mystery. Mysteries. The word mysteries would mean that it is a problem to be solved. Okay? A problem to be solved. That's what you would call a mystery. A mystery is like a secret. A mystery, it's like a secret. It's a problem that is to be solved. Something that you might find difficult, or something that um, is very hard to understand or explain, you would call it a mystery. When you say mysteries, you're actually saying it's more than one. Okay? Our next word, swirling, swirling, swirling. And this word, it's a very common word, swirling. And when something swirls, it means that it is actually moving in a twisted way, right? Or it is moving in a spiraling pattern. So, like the wind swirls, or we can say it's kind of like it's revolves or spin. You can also use those words to mean swirl. And swirling would actually means that the action is happening. Okay, that's where you add the ing. Atlantic, Atlantic, Atlantic. And it would be fair for us to say ocean at the same time. Ocean, Atlantic, ocean, Atlantic, ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is a very common ocean in the world, or a very popular ocean that we hear about in the world. Okay. And the Atlantic Ocean is actually the second largest ocean out of the five oceans in the world. So, the Atlantic Ocean. Our next word is the word tropics. 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 When we hear about the word tropics, what comes to mind? When you hear about the word tropics, what comes to mind? A lot of the times when we hear about the word tropics, we actually think of heat. We think of something that a place that is hot, right? Yes. So any place that is in the tropics would be a place that is hot, right? So the tropical region are regions that actually surrounds the equator. Tropical regions are regions that surrounds the equator. Sorry, guys. Okay, what other word do we find very difficult here? Is there any other word that you find difficult? So you guys, you're looking at the screen, you can actually type the word in the comment section so I can know what other word you may find difficult. If there's a word that you find difficult, please type it in the comment section so I can know what other words you guys find difficult. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead now and read through our um, text. There are numerous tempestuous tales of nature's force hurricane that were brewed hundreds of years ago. Still today, people wonder about the mysteries of the swirling winds over the heart of the Atlantic Ocean's warm waters in the tropics during the months of June to November. All right, so that reading was a bit um, off, as in we did not read it too fluent. So now we are going to be practicing how to read it very fluently. Let's go together. There are numerous tempestuous tales of nature's force, hurricane, that were brewed hundreds of years ago. Still today, people wonder about the mysteries of the swirling winds over the heart of the Atlantic Ocean's warm waters in the tropics during the months of June to November. How about that, guys? All right, let's take it one more time. Remember, we are practicing to be fluent. There are numerous tempestuous tales. This word should be tales. It's at a S. Tales of nature's force, hurricane that were brewed hundreds of years ago. Still today, people wonder about the mysteries of the swirling winds over the heart of the Atlantic's warm waters in the tropics during the months of June to November. Okay, always remember this word when it comes before a word that begins with a vowel, it says D. When it comes before a word that begins with consonant, we hear the. So sometimes it's going to be very difficult when you're reading to really keep that in mind. But I think with practice, after a time, it becomes very easy for you. And so you'll be able to do it very fluently. All right. So just keep practicing. Okay. Let's do this one more time. This time we will just try to be more fluent. And then we're going to move on to our next part of the text. There are numerous tempestuous tales of nature's force hurricane that were brewed hundreds of years ago. Still today, people wonder about the mysteries of the swirling winds over the heart of the Atlantic Ocean's warm waters in the tropics during the months of June to November. All right. You think you have that together, guys? Even I myself had some difficulty a while ago. So yes, we can have difficulties in reading, but you just have to know how to keep going. All right. So let's just read it one more time to perfect it. There are numerous tempestuous tales of nature's force hurricane that were brewed hundreds of years ago. Still today, people wonder about the mysteries of the swirling winds over the heart of the Atlantic Ocean's warm waters in the tropics during the months of June to November. Okay, I think we have that now together. Let's move on to our next part, which is part two of hurricane. Look at the words and see the words that might be very difficult for you to call. Let's look at the words and see which words you might just have some difficulty calling. So this is our word of the night, hurricane. Hurricane. It is the word that we are going to see repeat itself over and over because of the fact that that is our word for our topics. Letter, letter, letter. Using, using, using. Order, order, order. Alphabet, alphabet. Reuse, reuse, reuse. Wood, wood, wood. All right. So let's see which words you do not know the meaning for. Letter is a word that can be used for something that is written by and addressed to someone. So, for example, if you write a letter to a friend, that would be like a written message that is placed in an envelope and addressed to someone. You would call that a letter. A letter can also be used for the letters of the alphabet. So when you say letter, you can also refer to letters of the alphabet as letters or the symbols of the alphabet as letters. Okay, like A to Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, those are letters also. The word using derives from the word use. So to use something, it means that we are actually making use of it, right? Or it could mean that we are actually putting it for to work for its purpose. When we use something, we can also take it or we consume it. Those are words that we can use to explain what use means. So when we take hold of something or we put it to work for its purpose, then we can say that we are using it. And also we can say that we use something when we consume it. The word order, what does the word order mean? So if you put something in order, it means that you can put it in a specific arrangement. You make a specific arrangement for it or sequence, or you have a special series or system for it, or a layout for it when you put it in order. Order can also means that you instruct something or you command something with authority. Alphabet. Alphabet would refer to the letters A to Z. Alphabet would refer to the letters A to Z. Wood. Wood here, this is not wood as in um, the material. So it's not wood as in the material. This word is actually a verb and it's the past tense for the word will. It's the past tense for the word will. All right. Reuse. What does the word reuse mean? We reuse things in our everyday life all the time. To reuse, the prefix re means to do it again. So to reuse something, it means that you have used it again. Okay? So whenever you use something again, you reuse it. So for example, a bottle, you would have gotten some juice in a bottle and then you wash it out and then you use it the next day for water. That would be you reusing the bottle. All right. I hope that you do understand the words and their vocabulary. If you do, please type yes in the comment section. Let me see you guys being active. Type yes in the comment section, please. All right, so now we are going to be practicing to read through our text. Let's read through our text. If you're ready to go to read through the text, let's do that. Remember, we're going to try our best to read first word by word, then we're going to be reading very fluently. Every hurricane comes with a name from the letter A to Z or Z. If you use American English, V. Using the order of the alphabet. If a hurricane was bad, the name would not be used. Sorry, guys. Let's now read in sentences. Every hurricane comes with a name from the letter A to Z, using the order of the alphabet. If a hurricane was bad, the name would not be used. Let's try that one more time. This time we're going to try to be as fluent as we can. Every hurricane comes with a name from the letter A to Z, using the order of the alphabet. If a hurricane was bad, the name would not be reused. Do not practice like me where I slowed down at the ending. Always try to keep your reading going right through with expression. Let's go again one more time. Every hurricane comes with a name from the letter A to Z, using the order of the alphabet. If a hurricane was bad, the name would not be reused. All right. So if you think you mastered that, that's very good. I'm so happy for you. You can master anything that you want to once you just keep practicing. And I believe that this is something that you can do very well. You just need to keep practicing. Great. So let's keep going. Let's go to our next part of the text. What are the words that you find very difficult to read here? Remember to scan through the story and see what words you find very difficult to read. A word that might challenge you might be the word path, 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 the word path, path. And this path, it is like a track, or it is like a place to walk. Okay, you can say it is like a footpath, or you can even use the word a lane. Yeah, those words we can use them to mean the same as path or a route. Our next word is our popular word. By the time we're finished, everybody should know the word hurricane. Hurricane. Unpredictable. Unpredictable. So we have the prefix on, then we have the word predict, and we have able, which is a suffix. Unpredictable. So the fact that we hear the prefix on, that should help us to form meaning. Whenever you hear the prefix on being used, it means that this thing is not, okay? It is not. Or it can also mean like it's the opposite of another word. Okay, so unpredictable, when something is unpredictable, it would simply mean that it is unsure. Yes, it is unsure. Or it can also mean that it is something that is uncertain, something that is doubtful. You can also use the word unforeseen. It's something that is unforeseen. And we can also say that it's something that is changeable. Okay. When something is unpredictable, it's something that is changeable, which means it is likely to change. And it can change very suddenly. All right. Our next word, destructive. 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 And this word is a very popular word that we use. Destructive. When something is destructive, it means that it can cause great damage or harm, or is something that can be disastrous, something that can be very harmful, something that can be very violent. We can call it destructive. Coastal, coastal, coastal. Coastal would refer to areas that are very close to the sea, areas that are very close to the sea or to um, waterfronts. You would call them coastal areas. All right. Village. So, village is actually where you have different families settling. A village is where you have different families or different groups of people um, living, where you have many houses or buildings, and it's like one of the smaller towns. So a village is not um, like in the urban area. You would find a village more in the rural area. So where you have different um, houses, people settled in different houses or buildings, um, and it's more of a smaller town. And most times when they use the word village, they're talking about the rural areas, which means the countryside. Okay. Our next word, inner, inner, inner. So something that is in an inner position could be something that is at the core of something. Something that is at the inner position would be something that is at the core of something, or something that is inside of something else. You would use that um, to say that this thing is, All right, city. The city is the town or it's the urban area. So you can use the word urban for city. You can also use the word town for city. And that's where you would have lots of commercial buildings, business places, and it would be very busy compared to a village. A village would not be so busy. All right, and here we have villages. This time the S is added, so it means that it is more than one. Whenever you see the S added, it means that it's more than one. All right, good luck. If you remember all the words, and also if you remember the vocabulary, that would be very good for you. Now let's go ahead and read the words word by word. Then we try to read them fluently. The path of a hurricane is very unpredictable. It can be very destructive to coastal village as well as inner city villages. All right, that's very good. If you were able to read all those words word by word. Now let's read in phrases. The path of a hurricane is very unpredictable. It can be very destructive to coastal village as well as in city villages. If you were able to do that, that's awesome. Now let's read the sentence right through. Remember the bigger words. Path, hurricane, unpredictable, destructive, coastal, village, inner, city. And this word, the S is added, so it would now be villages. All right, let's go through the story. Remember, we have done the vocabulary and you need to practice the vocabulary. A path is a track or it is a place where you would walk, a route. When something is unpredictable, it means that it's uncertain, it can change at any time, or it is doubtful. When something is destructive, it simply means that it is harmful, it can damage whatever is in its way. It can also cause injuries. Coastal areas would refer to areas that are next to the sea or by any type of waterfront, whether it be a lake or an ocean. Village would be a place where you have houses, like a group of houses, and that would be more in the rural areas. And remember, we said that the rural area is the countryside. Inner would be when something is inside of something, or when it is at the core of something, or in the middle of something. City would be a town, or we can also use the word urban area. And villages would simply mean that it is more than one, right? So you have more than one area where a lot of um, houses, a group of houses are, and that area is in the countryside or in the rural area. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's read it. We're going to be practicing. to read through. The path of a hurricane is very unpredictable. It can be very destructive to coastal village as well as inner city villages. That's one time reading the whole sentence. Let's do it one more time. Ready? Let's go. The path of a hurricane is very unpredictable. It can be very destructive to coastal village as well as inner city villages. All right, we're going to be doing it one more time just for practice. And this time we're going to try to read at a faster pace. Let's see how well you will do at a faster pace. The path of a hurricane is very unpredictable. It can be very destructive to coastal villages as well as inner city villages. All right, do you think you did well? I think you did. So let's go now to our next text. This time we're going to be reading part 3. Remember, we are still looking for words that we might have difficulty calling. Um, let's highlight our famous word for the day, hurricanes. So now we see it with an S, mean, means now that it has more than one. So hurricanes, among, 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 natures, natures, natures. And you can practice the words while I say them. So let's look at the meaning for the word among. Remember, we are also doing vocabulary. Among, when you are among something or something is among you, it simply means that you are surrounded by it or that you are in the company of it. Or it can mean that you are in the middle of it or amidst it or between it. Okay? That's what our word among means. Nature, nature. Anything that is nature would mean that that thing is natural. Okay? It is natural. And our natural world, it is a creation that was created by God. So anything that is nature or natural would be things that were created by God. So these things would be of the physical world, like plants, animals, our landscape. All these things are nature. Our next word, formidable. Formidable. Let's say the word together. Formidable. Formidable. All right. Formidable. That's a word that is very familiar in English. However, because it's not used often, it might be a word that you are not sure of its vocabulary. So when something is formidable, it simply means that that thing, it can be termed as something that is terrifying, it can be termed as something that is frightening, or something that is forbidden. We can also say something that is alarming is formidable, or something that we are fearful of. If it's something that we fear, we can say that it's formidable. Formidable. Our next word is the word displace. 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 When we use the word display, we use it to mean that you may be showing something we may be showing something. Also, we can use display to mean that we are exhibiting something, or other words we can use. We can say that we are arranging something or laying out something or presenting something when we display it. Those are some of the words we can use. We have done this word before, and it might be one that you're very familiar with. Force, because we have done that earlier on. And we said a force is actually a push or a pull. It is like pressure on something, or power on something, or strength on something, or when you use your energy, that can also be a force. We also said force can be used in another way to mean when you are threatened to do something against your will, something that you do not want to do, and you are threatened to do it. You can also call that a force. All right. So our popular word again, hurricane. Hurricane is number 150. 150. Our next word, miles. 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 And when we use the word miles, we are actually using it as a measurement. We are actually using it as a unit of measurement. So miles, 1 mile is actually a great length, right? And I think it's about 1,760 yards. If it's kilometer, I think it's 1.6 kilometers. So if you're familiar with kilometers, then you'll be able to make the conversion, or be able to understand how much a mile is. So it is a long way, right? Or a great amount. It's like a stretch. All right. My next word is heavy. 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 When something is heavy, it means that it is of a great weight. It has a lot of weight. So like sometimes you may be holding a bag with grocery, and that bag is very heavy. When you say, hey, this bag is heavy, it means that it is very weighty, or it has a great amount of weight in it, or a large amount of weight, or it is dense. Our next word, two words joined together, rainfalls. Rainfalls. And rainfalls would actually be rain that falls from the sky. So rain that falls from the sky, we call it rainfall. The water that falls from the sky is called rain. And that's what we call rainfall. Okay. Our next word, cause. 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 Say the word cause. Cause. And you may know the word because. Yes. So this is cause. That is part of the word because. Cause means that that is the source of something, or that is where something started, where it originated, or it means that this is the root of something, or the foundation of something. You can call it the cause, or the base of something, the source of something. You call it the cause. Our next word is flooding, 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 flooding. When there is a flood, there is water. So flooding is when dry land is being covered by water. Whenever dry land is being covered by water, we would call it flooding. All right. Whenever the dry land is being covered by a lot of water, a large amount of water, that's when we call it flooding. And remember, we can have flash flooding, which would be flooding when banks are washing away. You call it a flash flood. But when it's just water covering the dry land, you would just say that it's flooding. All right, our next word is landslide. And this is two words together, land and slide. That gives us a compound word, landslides. Landslides. There's a S at the end. So we'll be careful to say landslide, landslides. And oftentimes, especially in mountainous countries, like countries in the Caribbean, you can have lots of landslides. Whenever there are storms or hurricanes, they can have a lot of landslides. All right. So if you are familiar now with all the words, you have learned the vocabulary, the pronunciation, and you think you're ready, let's go ahead and read the words. If you're familiar now with all the words, let's go ahead and read them together. Hurricanes are among nature's most formidable displays of force. Hurricane winds can go over 150 miles per hour with heavy rainfalls that can cause flooding and landslides. All right, so we just did it word for word. Now we're going to be reading in places, which means we're going to be reading two or three words or four words together. All right. But what we read, it will not necessarily make complete sense. Hurricanes are among nature's most formidable displays of force. Hurricane winds can go over 150 miles per hour with heavy rainfalls that can cause flooding and landslides. All right. So now let's read using a sentence form, which means we're going to be reading right through the story, trying to read in context and trying to gain meaning from our story or from our text. Hurricanes are among nature's most formidable displays of force. Hurricane winds can go over 150 miles per hour with heavy rainfalls that can cause flooding and landslides. All right, let's now try it again. This time, we're going to be trying our best to read at a faster pace. Let's go. Ready? Let's go. Hurricanes are among nature's most formidable displays of force. Hurricane winds can go over 150 miles per hour with heavy rainfalls that can cause flooding and landslides. All right. So, if you were able to do that, then you did an awesome job. Now let's go on to part four of our reading. This is part four, and we're going to be looking for the words that we find very difficult to call. Let's look for the words that we find very difficult to call. Our popular word, hurricane, which is our topic word. Category, 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 category. Okay, we also have the word category. Okay, category. Extremely. Okay, let's do the meaning for the word category. Before we move on, let's do the meaning for the word category. Category is when you put something into a group or into a class. When you give something a special set or a special listing, or as you put it as a special kind of something, then you are actually putting it into a category. When you rank something, it's a category too. All right. So the word category means a group, a rank, a set. If you mean a class, you just simply dividing things into or sorting things into groups. Extremely, extremely. The word extremely, well, you are familiar with the word extra. So when you say something is extremely, you're actually saying that it is very, or it is extra, or it is especially. Um, those are other words you can use to mean extreme. All right. So, or you can use the word huge too for extremely. The next word is dangerous. 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 When you say something is dangerous, that means that thing is very harmful. Anything that is dangerous would be something that is harmful, or something that can cause injury, or something that is threatening. We can use all those words to mean dangerous. Okay? Threatening, harmful. We can also use the word um, able to cause injury. All those words we can use to mean the same as dangerous. Our next word is regulate. 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 When you regulate something, it simply means that you control it. You control it. To regulate would mean to control. So anything that you regulate, you're going to control it. Other words that we can use to also mean regulate, we can use the word manage. We can also use the word balance, or to adjust something, anything that you regulate, you control it, you balance it, or you adjust it. Our next word is earth. 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 So that word is actually earth, but we add an apostrophe S, which shows that it has ownership of something. Our next word is temperature. Temperature. And temperature is a word that you have to remember in English because it is not um, pronounced as it looks. And so you have to remember that word to be able to call it. The word is temperature. Temperature. And temperature tells how hot or how cold something is. When you speak about the temperature of something, temperature, you're saying how hot or cold it is. To what degree is it hot, or to what degree is it cold? Is it 90 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius? How hot or how cold is it? Remember the word is temperature. Temperature. Our next word, transport. 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 The word transport, it means when you actually is able to move from one place to the next. So to transport something means to carry it from one place to the next. For example, you have goods being transported from one place to the next, which means those goods, they have moved from one place to the next. So the word transport simply means to be carried or to be moved um, from one place to the next. This word might be very unfamiliar to you. This word is heat, heat, heat. And currently, all over the world, people are using this word because, the place is very hot. And heat would tell us about high temperature, or it would tell us about the hotness of something. Our next word, equator. 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 If you listen to any sort of information about the tropics, that's a word that you have done a while ago, you would notice that the equator is actually where the tropics is located. So the equator would be the line that divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemisphere. So it is a line that you cannot see. They call it an imaginary line because you cannot see it. And that line, it is drawn around the Earth, right? And it is drawn at the middle point. So it is actually 0 degrees latitude, 0 degrees latitude. And it is drawn around the Earth. So it divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemisphere. And it's called the equator. Equator. And our last word is the word poles. Poles. Right? So in the world, you have the North Pole, you have the South Pole. And a pole is actually a pillar, right? Some of you might be familiar with a pole by calling it a pillar. That's okay to call it a pillar. A pole is actually a very long cylindrical object that is slender. And for example, it is used in like electricity where they would have the electricity wires attached to the pole. So it's a stick really, but that stick is a long, slender, cylindrical stick. And it is thick enough to stand on its own and to be planted in the ground so that it can be used to house electrical wires. All right. So, are you feeling good about all these words, knowing that you can call them? And are you ready to read through? Let's go. Let's read through word by word. Hurricane can go from category 1 to category 5. And so they can be extremely dangerous, yet they help to regulate the Earth's temperature as they transport heat from the equator to the north, to the pole. Sorry, there's no north there. I am the one inserting the word north. There's no word north. Okay? Right. So if we were able to do that, guys, then you just did an awesome job. Let's continue reading. All right. This time, let's read by phrases. Remember when we read by phrases, we're reading groups of words together. And we may not get meaning from them because phrases basically do not have meaning to it. Hurricane can go from category 1 to category 5. And so they can be extremely dangerous, yet they help to regulate the earth's. Remember, anytime this word comes before a word that begins with a vowel, we say D, the earth, the earth's, the earth's. All right. Regulate the earth's temperature as they transport heat from the equator to the pole, to the poles. So you now notice that we say the. Whenever it comes before a word that begins with a consonant, that's when we use the. All right, so I think we have all that together now. Let's read through. So this side, you're going to read slowly in sentences and try to get the context of what we're reading using the vocabulary that we already know, then repeat the meanings for all the words. Hurricane can go from category 1 to category 5, and so they can be extremely dangerous. Yet they help to regulate the Earth's temperature as they transport heat from the equator to the poles. That was good. If you were able to do that, hooray! All right, let's try to give it a faster pace. Let's try to give it a faster pace. Ready for the faster pace? Let's go. Hurricane can go from category 1 to category 5, and so they can be extremely dangerous. Yet they help to regulate the Earth's temperature as they transport heat from the equator to the pole. If you were able to do that, high five. That was awesome. Let's do it one more time just for clarity, just for perfecting it. Let's do it one more time. Ready to go? Let's go. Hurricane can go from category 1 to category 5, and so they can be extremely dangerous. Yet they help to regulate the Earth's temperature as they transport heat from the equator to the poles. That was really awesome. What do you think? Were you able to master all the words? I hope you were. Now let's move on to the next part, part 5. And we are going to see some of the words that we have done before. A lot of them, they're going to be reflected right here because um, we have done those words before, and those words will just come back in our story. That's why it's good to always try to remember words that you have studied. Here's one that we've studied just a while ago, destruction. And what does destruction mean again? It means when something can damage or when it is harmful. Well, destructive was what we did. We did destructive. Now it comes as a different it comes back as a change. So the root word that we did, it's no longer the same format. It's now as a noun. So what we did before was as a verb, an action word, but now we're doing it as a noun, as a naming word. So destruction would actually mean that this is like the process that caused the damage. You would say that it's destruction. Other words that you can use to mean the same as destruction would be words such as like when you pull down something, when you wound something. We can also say when there's an injury or when harm was done, we can use those to mean destruction. Okay. Destruction is just simply when something has been destroyed. Atlantic, we already used this word, Atlantic. Before we used it with the word ocean. So we were talking about the Atlantic Ocean. Now we're talking about the Atlantic hurricane season. So our popular word hurricane and season. So now we're talking about the Atlantic hurricane season, right? So because the hurricanes, they are formed just off the Atlantic Ocean, the hurricane season is named after that. And so the hurricane season would be named, is called the Atlantic hurricane season. And this year is 2024. So this story is actually referring to this year's hurricane season. Remember, 2024, you can say that, or you can say 2024. Early, early, early. When you say something is early, it means that it is on time, or we can also say that it is on timing, right? When something is early, it is on time, or we can also say it is even too soon, or we can say it happened too fast. Or early can also mean that it is timely. It's season. What does the word season means? We know that there is a season for everything, as the Bible tells us. There's a season for everything. So a season would actually be a time of year. So the time of year is we divided into four different times. You have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Those are the seasons of the year. In the Caribbean, we have the dry season, the wet season. The wet season is actually the hurricane season. The dry season would be that time when we have mainly sun. This word second, and something that is second would mean something that is at number two. Something that is at number two position, you would say that it is second. And the word system. So if you have developed a system, it means that you have actually developed a structure, or you have created an arrangement or an order for something, or you have made a setup for something, or you have created a method. Our next word, burial, burial, burial. And burial is the name of a woman in English. Burial. Developed, developed, developed. The ed at the end of develop is the root word. The ed at the end of that word, develop, simply means that the ed is showing that it has passed, and the song for the ed is the. So here, developed, developed, developed. So we hear the sound, developed. All right. So when something develops, it means that this thing, it grows, or it spreads, or it expands, or it advances, We can use other words like it bloom, or we can say that it progress or it evolves. The word category, we already said what that means. Category means that it is based into groups or according to its type or kind. It is sorted or it is in a class, according to what group it is in. Countries, 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 and countries should be a word that we are very familiar with. And countries would be like the different nations in the world. You would call them countries. The different nations in the world, we call them countries. Many, many would mean when you have a lot or plenty or several. Several, 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 and several means the same as many. Several means the same as many. Causing, causing, causing would be the same like cause, a word that we just did a while ago. Cause, which is the root word. And cause mean that this thing is the source of whatever it is. It is the start or the origin or the root of something. Deaths, 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 and deaths would be like people dying. Widespread, widespread, widespread. When something is widespread, it means that it is actually global. When it's widespread, it means that it is global or it is universal or it will be common or worldwide. All those words will be used to mean widespread. Places, places, places. Saint Vincent, Saint Vincent, and the Grenadines, Grenadines, Grenadines. So that's a place in the Caribbean, Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. And this is my homeland, Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Grenada, Grenada, Grenada. So Grenada, Grenada. Some people say it Grenada. Grenada would be incorrect. It's Grenada, 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 Grenada. Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. Texas, Texas, Texas. United, United, United States, States of America, of America, of America. All right. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada and Jamaica, those are Caribbean islands. Those are Caribbean islands. We can repeat them. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, 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 and Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica. Those are Caribbean islands. Okay? Texas is a place in the United States of America. So it is one of the states, it is one of the states of United States of America. All right. So now that we are familiar with all the vocabulary there, let's go ahead and read word for word. Then we are going to be reading by sentences. Let's go ahead and read word for word. The 2024 or 2024 Atlantic hurricane season began very early. The seasons, so now we have an S on it. So this shows that the season here owns something. We have an apostrophe S. The season's second system, Hurricane Beryl, which developed as a category 5, has hit many countries as a category 4 or 3 hurricane, causing several deaths and widespread destruction to places like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Jamaica, and even Texas in the United States of America. All right. You guys think you got it there? If you think you got it, put a thumbs up. Remember, if you want to come up on screen to read, there's a link in the comment section that you can click on to come up on screen to read, okay? This will help you to practice. After this page, we have one more to go, then we're done. So let's go ahead and read it now using phrases. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season began very early. The season's second system, Hurricane Beryl, which developed as a category 5, has hit many countries as a category 4 or 3 hurricanes, causing several deaths and widespread destruction to places like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Jamaica, and even Texas in the United States of America. Wow. You guys have it all together there. And I think you will do really well in reading it now as sentence forms. So let's go ahead and read it in a sentence. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season began very early. The season's second system, Hurricane Beryl, which developed as a category 5, has hit many countries as a category 4 or 3 hurricane, causing several deaths and widespread destruction to places like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Jamaica, and even Texas in the United States of America. Do you think you have it there now, guys? You guys did really well. I think you should have it. That's really awesome. Let's now read it from the top and try to be a bit more fluent. This time we're going to try our best to keep up and read it fluently. Let's go together. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season began last early. The season's second system, Hurricane Beryl, which developed as a category 5, has hit many countries as a category 4 or 3 hurricane, causing several deaths and widespread destruction to places like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Jamaica, and even Texas in the United States of America. Wow, did you master that? Let's try it one more time, just for fluency. Really good. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season began very early. The season's second system, Hurricane Beryl, which developed as a category 5, has hit many countries as a category 4 or 3 hurricane, causing several deaths and widespread destruction to places like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Jamaica, and even Texas in the United States of America. I think you did really well. Do you think so too? If you think so too, please say yes. Hi, BK Gaming. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? Good to have you here. Thank you so much for reading with us today. It was our pleasure having you. All right. So let's now move on to our next part of reading. And this is our final part of this reading passage, part 6. This is our final part of the reading passage, part 6. Let's go through the words. Rain, water. This is 2 words together. Rain, water. Rainwater. And rainwater is the water that falls from the sky. Hurricanes. Hurricanes. Remember, hurricanes is our dominant word for the day. It is our word for our topic that we are reading about. Hurricanes. Deposited. Deposited. Our next word, deposited. Deposited. And the word deposit means when you have made a down payment. It can also mean when you have done something in advance, like make a payment in advance. It can also refer to a sum of money that you would keep maybe in the bank or that you placed in the bank. You would say that you deposited the money or this is your deposit. So deposit actually means to put down something or to set down something or to lay down something or to put something to rest. Yeah. Across, 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 across. The word across means when you move from one side to the next. When you move from one side to the next, or when you move over something, you would say that you um, went across or you have gone across. To move from one side to the next. Okay? Or to go over something. Lines, lines. So the land is the ground that we are on. The land is the ground that we are on. The land is the ground that we are on. Water, water. Remember, if you're using the American English, that will be pronounced as water, water. Stores, stores, stores. And stores here, it is not like the place where you go to buy things. Okay? Store can mean the place where you go to buy things, like a shop. But in this context, it's not like a shop. This context would actually mean with the S, when you say you store something, it means that you are keeping something, right? Or it means that you actually put away something, or you're collecting something, or you're gathering something, or you're setting aside something. Reservoir, reservoir, reservoir. And that would be one of the difficult words there to call the word reservoir, reservoir. So a reservoir, it is a natural water catchment area or a natural water source area, or it can also be a man-made water source area. Okay, so for example, a pool It can be a pond, it can be a lake, it can be a river. Any one of those can be a reservoir. 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 When we add the S, it's reservoirs. Reservoirs. Seas. Seas. Rivers. Rivers. Lakes. Lakes. Tanks. Tanks. Multiplies. 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 Refills. Refills. So when you multiply something, the word multiply would mean that you get more. Okay? So when you multiply something, it simply means that you get more. Or you another word that we can use for multiply, we can say we increase. Okay, or we grow something to become more. When we refill something, it simply means that we have fill it again, so it will not be empty. We have fill it again, so it will not be empty. Or we have supply it again with more of whatever was in it, so it will not be empty. Fresh water. Fresh water would be water that does not contain salt, water that does not contain salt. And so our freshwater source would be like our reservoirs, our rivers, our lakes, and our tanks. Okay, those would be our freshwater source. Our next word, supplies. 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 When we supply something, it simply means that we make it available or we provide it. When you supply something, you make it available or you provide it or you give it or you grant it or you donate it. Stay, stay, alive, alive, alive. All right. So those are all words that you might find a bit difficult to call. And so we're going to be reading through now that we have finished the vocabulary. We're going to be reading through. You know what the word alive means, right? The word alive means to exist, or it simply means that it is something that is living, it is not dead, it is living. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead now and read word for word. The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across lands and into water stores such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies. So we can get water to stay alive. All right. Now let's read in phrases. The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across lands and into water stores such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies. So we can get water to stay alive. All right, now let's read the whole sentences. Are you ready? Do you think you remember the words? I hope you do, and I hope you're ready. Let's go. The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across lands and into water stores, such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies so we can get water to stay alive. That was good, but let's try to make it better. All right? You think you're ready to do that? I think you can, so let's go. The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across land and into water stores such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies so we can get water to stay alive. All right, that was good. Let's do it one more time. And let's try to get all the words in time. Let's try to keep up the fluency. Let's go. Ready to go? Let's go. Ready. The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across lands and into water stores such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies so we can get water to stay alive. That was super cool. Let's do it one more time just to practice and then we stop there for today. Okay? The rainwater from hurricanes that are deposited across lands and into water stores such as reservoirs, seas, rivers, lakes, tanks, multiplies or refills the freshwater supplies so we can get water to stay alive. Awesome. So remember to practice the words. If you need to listen over to the vocabulary, feel free to do that so that you can practice and you can master all the words and also the pronunciation. Remember, these pronunciations can be very difficult, especially for words like reservoir, reservoirs, reservoirs, deposited, deposited, multiplies, multiplies, refills, refilled, supplies, supplies, alive, alive. Keep practicing these words all the time. Rainwater, rainwater. All right, guys, don't forget to keep practicing. And let me say thank you and huge thank you to all of you who turned up to read today. Those of you who took the time out to ensure that you read through the story and that you understand the vocabulary words. So these vocabulary words, you can use them in your everyday conversations. And with that practice, you will improve your reading and vocabulary to advance to a higher English learning capacity. Thank you so much for being here. It was my pleasure being here with you, reading with you, and don't forget to share this with someone who might be interested in learning how to read English and interested in practicing their pronunciation, fluency, vocabulary, and spelling. Please, you can go back to the previous lives that we did, the last 6 lives. They were based on the same text. However, they were more in depth, where they show you how to break down the words, to learn how to call them. And with that, you can practice that so you can learn a lot more English words with the same songs, if that is something that you would like to do. And it also breaks down the words into like the prefix or suffixes, the parts of the word, give the meanings for the parts. so that you can have a better understanding of the language. So don't forget, you can go back to those videos, take your time, watch them, and that would help you to learn even more. So thank you so much for being here, and let me know what videos you'd like to see in the future as we continue to read and practice. If you are having morning time this morning, I hope that you do enjoy the rest of your morning. If you're having evening time, I hope you enjoy evening or afternoon or nighttime, whatever time it is at your place. And take care. And remember, next time, feel free to come up and read. The link is always in the comment section. You can click on the link and you can come on screen to read. And this can help you to build your pronunciation and your practice if you are willing to do that. Don't forget to share and keep practicing. Hope to see you in the next live coming very soon. Take care now. Until then, guys, keep blooming in love and may God continue to bless you and may your practice be well and you advance to the next level very soon. Keep practicing. Hope to see you guys again soon. And thank you so much, lovely people, for being here. And VK Games, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Hope to see you again soon.